And yes, it's time for me to introduce my sisters. Beautiful Rosie. Hi, Rosie. How are you doing?
Hi, Chris. I'm doing great. I'm fantastic. I'm awesome.
And you're looking fierce and red.
As always.
And we have Lady Bridgerton of Ghana. Say Chopin.
Hi, Chris.
You're really giving us, Lady Bridgerton vibes.
Yes, I am.
Wow.
Why not? The question is, why not?
Okay.
Every now and then, just glam up and look and feel good.
Wow.
That's what life is
We're
about.
sorry. We're sorry. We're sorry. We're sorry. And the beautiful Renee joining us on the show. How are you, Renee?
I am wonderful. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so are we ready for the first story?
Very ready.
Okay, I can see that we're all excited to get into it. But before we get into it, I also like to introduce our mixologist that is going to be giving us some beautiful, wonderful cocktails. And of course, we will need these cocktails because the stories sometimes are very heavy, so we needed to simmer down. Hi, Bruce. How are you?
Hi, Chris. I'm very well.
Well, it's been a long time.
Yes. Very well.
Okay, Bruce. I'm
Yes, we
sure you're
miss
going to
you.
make something wonderful for us.
Yes.
Okay.
Today you guys will be drinking a godmother.
A godmother.
Yes.
Well, that
sounds-
suits you more.
Yes.
Sounds like okay, so we're going to be drinking the godmother from Bruce Services, but yeah, we're ready for our first story. So let's just jump into it. So our first story. Hello, sisters. I'm a 33-year-old woman working in a well-known bank in this country. I have been single from birth until I met this neighbor of mine who proposed to me, although he was a married man. He told me he would divorce his wife, which he did. This man has been extremely loving, caring, and romantic since we started dating. He broke my virginity, after which he bought me a car as a present for keeping my pride. Virginity in quote, for him. We've dated for 5 years, and now he wants to meet my parents. Although I find this very exciting, I can't hide my joy in all this. I went ahead to tell him to hold on for some time. This statement got him angry to the point that he made a statement that suggested that if I wasn't interested in marrying him, I should just say it. And because he cannot wait to have me by his side as his wife. I discussed his intentions to marry me with my older sister, who advised me not to marry a divorcee because rumors says he is a womanizer, which I know is not true. She further told my parents, who have vowed not to agree to this marriage proposal. My parents have said this marriage will not hold when they are dead and gone. I'm so much in love with this man, but I cannot afford to lose him. I cannot throw 5 years of my life away in the name of a divorcee and a womanizer, which I don't have proof for. To make matters worse, I just found out last week that I'm pregnant for him and carrying our child. I don't know how to handle this. My man wants to marry me, but my family is hindering the process. I'm disappointed in my older sister for doing this to me. Sisters, what should I do? My heart is heavy. My heart is heavy for her too, but sisters, I just want to hear what everybody has to say. I mean, like, everybody's looking sad already.
Because it's really heavy.
Yeah,
I know.
It is heavy.
It's complicated.
Yeah. It's heavy.
First of all, this man left his wife for you. It's not like his wife passed or he was already divorced when you met him.
Yeah.
When you met him, he was married. And he mentioned that he was going to leave his wife for you, which he did.
What you did?
I'm quite worried about that because if he's able to do that with his wife, only God knows how long he had been married to that woman for, but that's even inconsequential. If he's been able to leave the first wife for you, what is the guarantee that he's not going to leave you for the next woman come another 5 years or 3 years or 4 years into the marriage? It's a very dicey situation for her to find herself in because there is no guarantee. And for your sister, for no reason whatsoever, to say that this man is the womanizer and all that, that may be something she would have to look into properly. And that this is an opportunity for her to probe further into this man's past and present to see if it's something she still wants to go ahead with. Because a lot of the times when you're in love with someone, your judgment becomes a bit clouded with a lot of things, which is why the Bible advises us to not have sex before even marriage, because it looks like it's one of those areas, the moment you tamper with it, your judgment is clouded entirely with everything else. Unfortunately, she's already done that and she's pregnant also, so we cannot even now go back and forth with that. The pregnancy is complicated things as far as I'm concerned, because now then there's a third person in the mix of all this. But all that being said, she should tread carefully.
Right.
She should tread carefully.
Tread carefully for how long?
As in, take her time to observe this person a lot more.
While the baby's growing.
Why is he angry though? That if you're not ready to marry, she just say, what's the rush?
No, because she said she was kind of like stalling on that.
Why was she
idea.
also stalling? Could that be, sometimes our instincts speak to us and we just ignore it. Why are you stalling?
Or
What's
maybe
the
she knows the
reason?
kind of family she comes from, or what to think about a divorcee.
For me, there's nothing wrong with somebody being a divorcee. It's like saying there's something wrong with born one. There's absolutely nothing wrong with marrying a born one. The issue rather is he divorced because he met you? Because that's what the story is telling me.
Yes.
It's not like he loves the woman because of something else. Marriages break up every day. We are in 2023. But if it's because of you, then I'm worried. Because then it means because of another person, you might also be divorced. Give or take another couple of years.
Right. So Renee has something to say.
Because the man clearly told her that I am leaving my wife
for you. Yes, that's where I have a big problem.
And he went ahead, left his wife for her. And they've been dating for 5 good years. When he met her, she was 33. 5 years into it, she's 38 probably.
Exactly.
And so 5 years with a lot of, for a lot of sex, because she's pregnant now, a lot of sex.
Yeah.
There's a baby here. Now you're tempted to, eventually marry him. Then again, you are thinking, okay, no, my family says, my sister says he's a womanizer. And it's not even a matter of he being a divorcee. He's a womanizer. You see, that when you see there's a little rumor, there's a little truth in every rumor. When somebody tells you that, okay, so this man is a womanizer, there could be some truth in it. But sometimes sometimes they won't give you the whole picture. It is up to you to find out, whichever you use to find out, it's up to you to find out, is he really a womanizer? Okay, why did he leave his wife for me? Could he have solved his issues?
I think we're on the same page.
Yes,
so
we are.
Yeah.
We are. And see, right now, the man is angry because they've been doing this for 5 good years. And there's a baby. So the fact that there's a pregnancy here doesn't mean you should rush into this marriage.
Exactly.
Like you said, our instincts, especially women, I think we overthink too much. Listen to your instincts. We overthink too much. And like you said, emotions, we are clouded with, once the sex comes in, everything looks perfect.
Yeah.
Emotions, like we don't even care anymore. Oh, this is so perfect. Why don't I just go ahead? Thank you. Why don't I just go ahead? This is perfect. Oh, I love him. He left his wife for me. He must have really loved me.
Yeah.
You would want to make everything convenient for you and say, okay, yes, I want to marry him. Now there's pregnancy, you are confused. It's unfortunate, like we said from the beginning, this is very difficult. So she must really tread, cautiously.
Yeah. Right, but I have some questions. Well, Rosie, I'll just let you speak before the questions.
Yeah, I've been quiet for something because I've been trying to process this. Now, the question is that hardly do you find a man leaving a wife for another woman.
Exactly.
I think that there were probably issues in his marriage.
Thank you.
And he saw the opportunity to make the girl feel so special, to make her feel like, oh, I'm leaving my wife for you. Because you see, the thought process that goes into marriage, especially from the angle of men, is not something that I don't think they just go into it thinking that after 6 months I want to work out or something like that. So I have a feeling that the marriage already had its own issues. And this girl was just there. And then he just came up and said, look, I'm doing this divorce. And to make the girl feel like, look, I'll do almost anything for you. Used it as an excuse to say that, okay, I'm leaving this marriage for you. To buy the girl's confidence, the girl's trust, the girl's everything. Now, that being put aside, my question is, for a woman who is 33 years old, for a man who is a divorcee, which means that he's not a young man, he's probably, he's
in his 40s, perhaps.
My question is that, why the need to keep the relationship secret for 5 years?
That's exactly what I'm
So those are the
ask.
questions I'm asking, that why the need to keep it hush hush. Now, because you have just divorced, it's okay to want to keep it for like 6 months to 1 year to make sure that people don't say that, oh, it's because of this lady, that's why you did this, you did that. But to keep it hidden for 5 years.
Yes.
Now, asking questions. The questions I'm asking is that, one, is there something that the lady sees that she herself is not comfortable with, but for some reason cannot admit to it because she's enjoying a new car for her virginity?
Right.
Look, some of us didn't get even a pencil case for the damage cost. You understand?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm just saying. So, just for keeping it intact, I kept my intact for a long time, but you know,
still didn't get a
yeah, I still didn't get
pencil
it.
case.
So at the end of the day, she got a car for her virginity, and I'm sure the man has been doting her with money and doting her with things. And the man is probably very caring, pays attention to her. So she's overlooking those things. But based on her family background, her family principles, where she's coming from, I mean, the things that they uphold as a family and things like that, she knew very well from the word go that her parents may not accept it.
Exactly.
And that's why she sort of like kept it hidden. Now, the sister, who clearly states that the man is a womanizer, one, what has the sister seen? Could the sister be one of his conquests, or could the sister's friend be one of his conquests? Like, you know, like, I'm just thinking, because for somebody to brand you a womanizer, it means that something has happened. Either you've heard rumors of him chasing a friend of yours, but to protect your sister, you were not willing to divulge, or somebody said something to somebody and then rumors around. Because all of these things, I think that the most important thing is that he's a womanizer. Somebody being properly married and divorced to settle with somebody else, that doesn't make you a womanizer.
No,
Yeah.
it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
That does not qualify you to be a womanizer. So for that title, a womanizer, it's possible that the girl herself, the man has womanized, she's probably complained to her sister as, oh, Charlie, my sister, this is what the guy did, this is what the guy did. And you know, when we are hurt, we say things. So I'm sure she's told the sister things. So the sister in her mind, she has supposed to look, listen, this guy is a womanizer. He even left his wife for you. So what won't he do for you? What won't he do to you as my sister? And your sister has gone ahead to sow the seed of impossibility to your parents. So now your parents are like, lie, because they know that your sister has your best interest at heart. Now, the question is that the man is equally right to be angry, because you've kept me at bay for 5 years.
5 years.
Now I want to go and see your parents. It's not like you are 16 or you are 18 or you are even 20 for crying out loud. You're in your 30s,
now.
late 30s. So, I mean, I'm going to see your parents. That's the right thing to do.
And besides, he might want kids too.
Yeah, that's the right thing to do. He's ready to settle and take it up the next level, because it means, I mean, you mean a lot to him. Why are you now having doubts? When he was giving you the car, you were not having doubts. When he was giving you money, you were not having doubts. When you were doing the sokwe plenty, you were not having doubts. You understand? You're not having doubts. But now that it's like, oh, let's meet the parents, now you're having doubts. Because they are hidden truths.
Yes.
Or they are truths that you know, that you are willing to confront your family about. And you don't want to disgrace your family by saying, I'm bringing this very person with all these shaded qualities, and this is the man I want to spend my life with. But going forward, child marriage is a one-on-one decision.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I believe that one man's meat is another man's poison.
True.
So you meet a man, you're like, oh, this man is the best man in the world, you marry him. But there's some girl, when he hears the man's name,
Devil.
she gets goosebumps,
Yeah.
her pressure goes up, she's shivering, she has all manner of symptoms, because this man has been the most horrible person to her. You know, so we are different things to different people.
Exactly.
Based on how we feel about them. You are the one in the relationship. You have kept the relationship for 5 years. If the 5 years means anything to you, you should be the one going to your parents and telling your parents about this gentleman, telling your parents about the good you see in this gentleman, the fact that yes, he's a divorcee, but I've known him for 5 years, and this is who he is to me, this is what he has done for me, this is how he treats me. Speak about him to your family, so that when he comes to
Yeah.
meet the parents, he's meeting the parents, at least you've done half of the work, and all the parents have to do is that, well, you are the one who is bringing the man. If this is what you want, fine. So long and short is, look, marriage is your decision. And the reason why I want it to be your decision is that, look, when marriage is your decision, when things start going south, you have that obligation to sort of like make it work. When the marriage is put together for you because it is ideal, this is the man for you, this is the woman for you, this is the ideal person, a woman of your caliber, this is the kind of man you have to be, blah, 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 blah. You realize that it's other people's choice for you.
Yeah.
So the slightest red flag, I'm going. The slightest argument, look, I can't handle this, I can't handle this. My mother who said I should marry you, me, I didn't even want to marry you. But when it is your decision and you love the person and you go through whatever it is to make it happen, you realize that when things are even going south, there's this energy that you want to put in to fix it.
Okay. I will agree with you on a few things and disagree with you on a few things. And I think it's important that we bring those things to bear. Yes.
Let's start with a disagreement.
Yes. I disagree with you on the point that men make some fantastic decision and therefore it's difficult for them to divorce. Look, 1,000,001 men are marrying women for all kinds of reasons and are divorcing them every day for all kinds of reasons. Men, yes, they think thoroughly about marriage, but they also quickly are the ones who quickly want to run out of it.
I'm not saying that they don't
So
divorce
this
for
man
other
could
reasons.
have commitment challenges and therefore could just have left that woman for this girl. It happens.
No, but
men leave
commitment challenges won't be
with
with
their
them for
wives
5 years.
whom they married for other girls
women,
every
yes.
time. Every time. Men leave their wives every time.
See.
So to say that it would be difficult for him to just leave the woman for this girl, I beg to
No,
differ.
listen, I'm not saying
he
no.
left, and for me, that's one of the things the girl needs to consider very carefully before he gets married to this person. It's different when you're not married to someone.
I understand perfectly, but you can also agree.
I agree
that
with what she's saying, but look, it's 1% out of the 100.
Hold on, when we are talking, it's not a 100%.
Exactly.
Yes.
What I'm trying to say is that listen, for a man to leave a woman, it will not be so. For instance, if the woman is everything he wants the woman to be, and the marriage is something he wants, the marriage is something that he himself puts his head inside and wants to do. He will not just.
But we
because
don't
of
know
another
that
woman.
now.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
There are so many things we don't even know.
Exactly.
That's what I'm
So-
saying. So my submission said most likely the reason why he is leaving is
He might
not
have
because he
issues.
might have issues in the marriage.
And I'm also
itself.
saying most
Because
likely
for
it could be that
marriages,
girl.
especially for marriages, especially in Ghana, before marriages break, they go through cycles. They go through cycles of parents coming in and people coming. Even when you go to the law courts,
Exactly.
they need to find a good reason to even allow you to dissolve the marriage. So for a divorce to happen in Ghana, when it's outside, it's very easy because the two of them can walk, get married. The two of them can actually walk into the court and say, I don't want this, and I'm just not happy, and that's it. But in Ghana here, as we speak, there is no marriage that is dissolved on a silver platter just because I'm not happy, I've met another girl, and I'm going.
But nobody
Definitely
will
there'll be,
cite
hold on,
that
definitely I know,
as a reason.
but definitely there'll be issues tabled before families will allow that the marriage should to be dissolved. So all I'm trying to say is that fine, there's a possibility that there's one or two people who will leave because genuinely they're leaving for another woman. But truthfully, there should be issues in the marriage that would even propel a man or a woman to decide to even walk away from a marriage.
Right. But Sister Pray, wait. But do you agree with me that there are situations that a man will tell another lady, I'm going to leave my wife for you, and
Yes.
never will.
Of course,
Yes.
that happens a
So
million
yeah, that's
and
why
one
she
times.
said what she
Yes.
said. So
Yes.
there's a
That
possibility. There's actually a
That's why I
possibility
said-
that
that's why I
yes, they
said-
might have
It's not in the 1%.
That's why I
It's
said-
actually the one. What you are saying
That's
is
why
actually
I
in the
said.
1%.
That's why I said it happens. I'm disagreeing on some things and agreeing on other things. That was my first thing I said. But the point I'm making is whether or not there is an issue in your marriage, a man who wants to make it work.
Would make it work.
With a woman who wants to make it work. True. The two of them will make it work.
True.
A man who wants to leave, there is nothing under this sun you will do for him.
True.
So for me, the point I'm making is this girl needs to tread carefully. As in, it is one of the areas she needs to look at properly. What were the issues in that marriage and why did you leave? If it's because of me that you left, then I should be worried. Yes. If it's because of me that you left, then I'm very worried and I don't want to marry you because that means 2 years down the line, if you find another woman, you are going to leave me
And
for
we
that
have-
woman.
and we have issues to say, okay, I'm
And that
leaving
is why I
because of
said
this,
She
then we are
needs to
leaving.
tread carefully. She needs to look at all
Yes.
these things before she
Thank
even
you.
goes out
Okay,
to
wait.
marry.
Bruce has something to say. Yeah.
Look at it this way. They've both had this conversation for a very long time, 5 good years.
5 years.
Definitely, the girl would have known what is going on in the guy's house. For him to agree that, oh, I'm leaving my wife to marry you. You get it? It won't just happen in 1 or 2 years. There's definitely a conversation
That
between
statement
the two.
alone is questionable.
Yes, then I
That
put
you
it-
tell me,
Yes.
let's say I'm dating a married man now, and he tells me that I'm going to leave my wife and come and marry you. I will be so worried up to my
No, but I
neck.
doubt that was a
no.
statement that was made.
No,
I'm sure the
so-
statement was.
so
That's what the lady wrote.
No, hold on,
That's what the lady
hold on.
wrote. don't.
I'm sure the statement that was made was, my wife is like this, my wife is like
Exactly.
that. My wife is like
usual.
that.
That's even worse. That's even worse.
No, that's
I don't want to be with any man, even if
Sister,
I'm dating a married man. I
listen.
don't want to be with any man who comes to tell me about
My
his
wife
his
is
wife
wait,
has a problem.
sit
there
away.
for you.
My
Yes.
wife is like this, my wife is like that. So for that reason,
I'm leaving her for you.
For you. That's something like whatever it is, there's some underlying causes.
Rosie.
No, but you know,
It can't be just a reason
we
like
are
you miss
just-
a woman.
maybe
we
it's
are
serious
just,
qualities.
no, you know what? We are
In
just
truth,
talking from
in
from
truth,
the
in truth.
perspective
Certain
of women.
perspective.
Yes, let
Yes.
us hear from a perspective of a man.
Maybe the guy is seeing some qualities in the current girl she's moving out with that is not seen in the
And so
ex-wife.
that's a reason to
Bruce,
leave your
I'm
wife.
asking a
To leave
question.
your wife.
I'm asking a question
not
like,
justifying it.
is there a possibility for a man to actually leave his
I didn't
wife
justify
genuinely?
anything.
No, it depends. It depends on the factors that are being presented.
Could that be
It
even a
depends.
genuine
You see,
reason? Let's all
there's
agree to
never a
one thing
genuine
here.
reason.
There's never a genuine
Let's-
reason.
Yes, but let's all,
There
there's
isn't.
never a
It depends.
genuine reason. But let's all agree to
isn't.
one thing here: that if we put the factors that even the Bible agrees that people should divorce on, okay? If we put it there and we put this man there, and those factors are not in play, and we just say loosely that like the lady rightly said in the message, he said he was going to leave his wife for me, and he went ahead and did that. It is a question mark on this man's character. And sense
No
of
doubt,
commitment,
no
and
doubt.
therefore it needs to be checked properly. That's all I'm saying. It means that this man has to be monitored closely to see if he has issues with commitment. Because
Right.
if he could not commit to his wife based on whatever reason it
commit to you.
is, then I'm worried about
But
him
that's
going
not
to
the
marry
what I
another
said
woman.
about the
No,
fact
no,
that in
no,
the
no,
5 years,
I
there's a reason why
understand.
he has introduced himself to the people because she
Exactly.
herself is
And
seeing
that's
some
what
of
I
these
also
things.
said.
But-
Yes, so then we are in
but can we
agreement on that.
agree- but can we agree-
A
can
man
we
leaving
agree-
a woman for a man, there has to be a reason
No,
why
but
he
can we
did that.
agree that there are a lot of people in very unhappy marriages?
True. Of course.
Yes, true.
Of
Okay.
course.
Yes.
And there's
most
a
of them
reason for
eventually-
that unhappiness.
Exactly. And most
And
of them
those are the
eventually
reasons
leave.
why
Yeah.
a man will choose to leave a wife for another woman.
Yes.
Not just because they have met somebody
in
else.
in truth, some of them don't even leave their wives, but they have literally
Left the marriage,
The
yeah,
marriage.
yeah.
The
Because
marriage
of
is just
issues.
hanging on a thread.
Yeah, because
we all
of-
know that. But the point I'm making this afternoon is, it is not impossible for a man to leave his wife for a girl.
Nothing is
However,
impossible.
that reason being in this text alone is something to worry about for this girl, because she has sent
We have
sent
all
us the
identified
message.
that fact.
Yes.
And that is what I said in the beginning.
Okay.
That
We have all
she
Renee
needs to
actually
be
has
very
something to say
careful.
before we
We have all
wrap up
identified
this.
that fact, so it's not a new thing.
Yeah, Renee.
I want to go on this angle that yes, because we are all human beings, the man and the woman, or the husband and the wife, because we are human beings and not angels. See, even the Bible says that when you marry, there will be issues. I wish I remember the scripture. There will be issues because you are flesh and blood. And so because we are flesh and blood, there will be issues. So when the issues come, see, we shouldn't rush out because there are issues. Because you're going to meet another human being. Because the other person, see, this other lady is not an angel. There will definitely be issues in his next relationship or in his next marriage. So are we saying that once you're unhappy, move?
No.
So generally, we should strive as much as possible. See,
take
marriage is like a
some
garden.
issues.
It's a garden. If you don't prune it, weed, anything can just grow at any time. So that's how we should approach our relationships. I don't think any of my friends or even me, I can't say that we don't have issues in our marriages. Because we are human beings, there are issues. So once the issues come, we should be open enough and talk about it. Talk with your partner. Talk. Don't sleep over issues when they come up. Talk. So that when you talk, the issues wouldn't pile up. Because you see, people leave not because sometimes they don't really want to leave, but sometimes they are choked. They are choked.
And because you're not talking.
You're not talking. So when you choke, don't just leave.
So what if this man is choked?
Yes.
So see, that's what I'm saying. There's no reason to work.
I am
And another thing is,
It's nothing.
just
it's a
because
reason
there
to
are
work.
the same with the marriage materials for women.
Yes.
there are marriage materials for men too.
Right.
And a man who cannot commit and stay and make things work is somebody you need to monitor closely.
Okay, we actually have a
Nobody
you know what?
nobody
So before we
disagree
get
with
like,
that. So,
yeah, so
Nobody agree.
I
But
think
I'm not. You can't disagree with my take that there's a problem.
I think
There
this
is.
we
No,
know
that's why I said I agree with some things and I don't agree.
That's why.
The point I
That's why I
don't agree.
ended by saying that. Look, marriage is a decision you have to make yourself.
Yes.
So that when the issues
I agree
come,
with that.
then
Exactly.
you can make up your mind that you want to solve
Solve
it.
it. Work it
But
out.
whatever marriage the man had, I'm saying that, look, those issues that were cropping up, I'm not saying that they were unsolvable issues, they were justifiable issues, but they were issues that bothered him enough to want to say, I'm leaving this marriage. And the energy to leave this marriage may have been encouraged by the new person he has seen or otherwise. But the thing is that if he was happy and content, if the marriage he was in was probably his decision to marry, if it was probably something that he was willing to work on, he will not just leave the wife because of another woman. Or maybe even the statement that I'm leaving my wife because of you was just to make the woman feel like you are so important.
I think we can conclude that this man cheated while he was with his wife.
Exactly.
No, he was cheating. If he wasn't cheating, he wouldn't have cheated the other girl. I'm leaving my wife for you.
Yes.
We have a second story, so I'm just going to conclude this.
Right.
I would agree that I'm going to bring back what you actually said, but yes, some marriages are just hanging on threads right now. So yes, there might be cheating, and also we don't know the background of the whole divorcing thing. So yes, maybe he might be really unhappy, and we cannot force people to stay in unhappy marriages. That's the truth. No matter how much you talk, no matter some marriages are there that no matter how much you talk, it can't just work again. So if it has reached that point, yeah, people can actually divorce. You understand? And also, the only thing I can tell this girl is, you know what, just take a break and look around and, like you said, and in fact, like all the sisters said, just, you know, take a chill pill and then look around and see and really ask yourself the questions if I really want to do this, and tell yourself the truth. If there are red flags, you should step back. And you know, when it comes to family issues, I know we want to respect our families sometimes, but like Rosie said, marriage is a one-on-one. It's a one-on-one thing. Only you know what you're seeing. Only you know what you're enjoying. So you know what, just take your time, step back and assess the whole thing again. But now it's time for us to take a quick break and we'll get into our second story.
Ongalicious and simply irresistible. Here's how to make jollof the easier way with the new Onga soybean protein chunks. Start by putting the 180 grams pack of Onga soybean protein chunks in a bowl. Add in 400 ml of water. Soak for 10 minutes until the water has been absorbed by the chunks. Now place a pan on heat, add in oil, and fry the soybean protein chunks till they are golden brown. Then take them from the oil. It's now time to blend onions, tomatoes, green pepper with a splash of water. Next, pour oil into a pan and add in chopped onions, tomato paste, and fry for 3 minutes. Now, add in your tomato pepper blend. Allow to simmer for a few minutes. Add bay leaf, white pepper, and stir. And adjust with salt. Next up, season the stew with Onga 3 mix. Stir, cover, and allow it to cook. Add in 2 cups of water and stir. Cover and bring it to a boil. Now, add in 1.5 cups of rice. Stir and allow it to cook. When the rice is almost tender, add in the chopped green beans and carrots. Finally, add in the fried soya chunks. Stir and cover and allow it to cook. And your Ongalicious jollof is ready to taste.
Magic pepper and onion, a delicious tomato mix with tomato, pepper and onion. No grinding, no blending. Ya yin da da da. So pa mediane no abin. Come on, Gino, do your magic. And papa no kunu abefi.
Tasty magic.
Gino Magic Pepper and Onion. The magic that brings them home.
This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, it's Sister. And our first story really had us all pumped up. I mean, when we went for the break, everybody was still talking about it. And I wish we could continue, but now it's time for us to get into our second story. And I would like to say a very big thank you to Bruce Services for the wonderful cocktail. I mean, it's really helping us because, we feel really pumped up. But now it's time for us to get into our second story. Ladies, are you ready?
Yes, we are.
Okay, our second story. My husband started spending a lot of time with his friends from childhood whom I had never met or heard of before. Sometime last month, I just woke up and asked to see his phone to check the time. He handed it to me and it opened into WhatsApp, where I discovered he had been sending nude photos of himself to someone. When he realized he had handed me his unlocked phones, he pounced on me, snatched the phone back, and smashed it on the floor. But I had already seen it. As it turns out, he's been chatting with someone, but I decided not to question him. I wasn't sure how to react because I didn't even get the chance to know who he was texting on the other hand. I saw a touching story on the internet of how someone found that her husband was cheating. I decided to contact the hacker and she recommended through a link she posted. He cloned my husband's phone without physically touching it. Wow. Women in tech.
That's right.
All I did was send his phone number to him, and through a remote link sent to my mail, I was able to access all of his text, email, Facebook and Instagram chats, real-time call listening, and his long deleted messages, as if his phone was physically with me. After reading his chats, I found that he was texting, as if his phone was physically with me. Well, after reading his chats, I found that he was texting a younger woman in the office, and it was clear that they regularly had sex. I have no idea how long he has been doing this because they have developed an emotional connection. I am broken. I feel disrespected, disappointed, angry, used, and unappreciated. Sisters, what should I do? I need your advice. Sisters,
Today the issues are hard issues.
yeah, today the issues are really hard
Very hard
issues.
issues. Very, very hard issues.
Okay. Okay. Rosie, I'm going to start with you.
Okay. To start with, you see how things work. The lady was even just collecting the phone to check time.
Just take time.
So it wasn't an intentional snoop.
No.
But that action of collecting the phone and smashing it on the floor.
Like, what will make
Now,
you
the
smash
fact that the lady couldn't even catch the name, though she saw the pictures, it means that the name was not probably even saved probably as a woman's name. I'm just thinking out loud. Or was it probably not? Because when you open WhatsApp and you're checking pictures, the name of the person is at the top.
Yes,
So I'm thinking that maybe
yes.
the name was saved codedly or something.
Gardner.
Listen, look, men, I don't know what it is, but they can explain a lot of things away. You took the phone, you actually smashed it. For me, that is like ping, ping, ping. I don't want you to see what is on the phone. And that is the only reason why the woman to also want to go and snoop.
Yes.
Because that action was too drastic. She was willing to hit his phone and destroy it. Destroy the evidence.
No evidence.
Then for me,
like, you know, he didn't just take it.
yeah, no,
pounced.
most men would have taken
Yes.
it and go like, why are you checking my phone? You said you wanted time.
No, or maybe you go like, okay, give me, I need to do something. You know?
You know,
Or
yes.
something. And then maybe because the wife is, but to collect it and smash it. For me, that was the first indication that the man is doing something untoward, and he probably didn't want the woman to see. And because he was in bed, when he woke up, his initial instinct was that drastic to smash it. Number two is, I can understand why the woman would want to snoop, because if I was that woman, I would do the same thing. However, the modus of the snooping, you see, you're giving your husband's number to a hacker to hack his entire phone, emails, text messages. What you are doing is to let him bear. And for me, for security issues, I think that even you yourself, your security is compromised.
Yes.
Conversations between you and your husband, this hacker has it. Where he goes to work, who he works with, every information, this hacker has it. And in this day and age that we are in, information security is very, very important.
Right.
So me, I'd rather do the lying low, letting things play out, pretending you don't know, and gathering the evidence for yourself. I would not have approached it by getting a hacker to clone the phone such that everything is laid bare, because that hacker also has the information you have.
Right.
And when the time is right, that hacker, because sometimes these hackers, sometimes they don't have the kind of conscience that you expect them to have.
But the question is, how long would you wait for if they're having sex already?
Yes. So now that you have the information that you wanted to see, what you're suspecting, you have seen.
Yes, it's confirmed.
So now what does she want us to do?
She says she feels disrespected,
disappointed, and angry.
She's angry.
What should she do? Should she stay? Should she leave? Should she, pounce on him again?
This is where I think that, you see, sometimes I don't know whether it's a society or something. When a man sees a woman cheating, quickly, you are cheating on me, you are doing, get out of my house,
of the
I'm
time
not
you
marrying you
divorce
again, I'm divorcing you. But when a man is cheating,
they'll tell us to enter
even
the
your
war
family
room.
members will tell you that, is that all he's doing?
Yeah.
It's only
Is he taking care of the children? Is
Are you
he treating
eating?
you nicely?
Are you taking-
Are you starving? You don't know what me I went through at the hands of your father. You see, but I think that it's high time men are also held accountable to the vows they make when they are getting married.
Right.
And they should know that as much as they have a heart that gets angry when their women are cheating, women also have a heart. They also feel hurt when their man cheats on them. Now, a man sending your nudes outside.
Wow.
Can you picture, maybe just in case the woman gets angry and decides to flash? Charlie, I want to be working and see my man's nude. I don't know. I'm going to cringe.
Yeah, it's about
Like the man's own news. That's what I'm
yes,
like,
own news.
I mean, imagine she's the girl she's sending it to. There's some disagreement or then she decides to
Put it out
put on
there.
it. And I'm going around and I'm seeing like
Billboards on
with all the hairs and the things hanging around. I mean,
and you know it's your man.
and I know it's my man. I know everything. And maybe you do with maybe the bits of the chest, the stomach, and everything, or something. For me, I think that look, when it gets to that height of the man sending news to another woman, then you have completely disrespected the marriage.
Yeah, that's what she said. That she
You
feels
have
like they
completely-
have developed
Yes.
an emotional connection,
Yes.
and that it's
It's
too much.
disrespect. So this is what I think. Listen, be bold to confront your man. Let him know that he's having an affair with this person, and dialogue with it. Because you see, when you see some of these things and you let it pass, sometimes it can happen both ways. The man can be ashamed and decide that, hey, my wife saw it and she hasn't said anything, so what's up? What is she planning? And put himself in order. Or the man can say that, well, she saw it, she didn't say, and she's okay with it. Oh yeah, let's continue.
Right.
So it's important
right.
that it is discussed.
That you make it known.
We make it known that we know. Let's discuss it. But I'm sure the moment it comes up that you went to international hackers, your matter will not be sweet again. That is my longest. The moment it is realized that you went to hack the phone and saw everything, it will not be realized again.
Maybe she can come
So
and,
it's two things. It's two things. This is my criminal mind speaking. With the information that you have, you can actually go and lock his phone, maybe do a screenshot of the relevant portions that you want, and use that as evidence for your case. But don't go and say you've seen his emails, you've seen his text, you've seen everything. The question is how. Now, for you to expose your husband like that, me, if I were a man, I can divorce you based on that.
Yeah.
Because you have actually managed to get somebody to clone my complete phone, have access to my emails, my work emails, my business, my WhatsApp, my pictures, everything. It's a complete invasion of privacy. If I were a man, I would divorce myself if I did that. You understand? So, but I can understand the energy behind that.
Yes.
The way he got up and took the phone and smashed it, I can understand she was looking for answers, so she'll do
Anything and
everything possible to get. I can understand that. But I think that we need to move marriages, relationships to that point where couples can talk about anything, address issues work on it, and it doesn't necessarily affect the marriage. So you are dealing with the issues, but not the human beings. So you are dealing with the issues, things that are happening in the marriage, what this person has done that you don't like, what this person has done you don't like, how the person has hurt you. You should be free to express how hurt and how pained you are. You should be allowed time to grieve, time to have expectations, to be apologized to, expect the other party to change, and all that. But it's like, the African society is such that the women are held accountable, but the men
aren't.
Yeah.
That's what I was
Renee
saying.
has something to say.
Yes. You see, when the man smashed the phone, he wanted to just destroy every evidence. The woman went further to hire a tech guy to clone the phone, blah blah blah, get every information. I think she wanted to gather just enough evidence for whatever she wants to use the evidence for. We do not know, because she hasn't said she wanted to leave the marriage. She hasn't said that. But then again, cheating in marriage is cheating. I want to say this to everyone, whether you're married or not, especially to the married. You see, you can never get everything. You can never get everything entirely. You can't have everything in its entirety. Your partner can't give you everything, because our needs are insatiable. So you see, just be content with what your partner gives you. Once you're able to tell them that, babes, I want this, I want that. These are my needs. This is how I want you to speak. This is the love language I want you to speak to me, and this is how I want to speak to you. Is it okay for you? If no, how do I make it better? How do I get it better? Because you see, even when you cheat, you think that the other person is giving you what your wife or husband couldn't give you. But I tell you what, once you move in completely with this person, they'll be lagging somewhere else. So you can't have everything. Let's be content with what we have in our marriages. Let's just be content. And you see, this marriage thing, we can't work it out alone. When we went to church and we vowed to our partners, we're actually vowing to God too. Okay, He is the third person in our marriages. So you can't even see, the decisions we make in our marriages shouldn't be based on our selfish personalities. It should be based on what, if you are a Christian, if you're a Muslim, whatever religious background you come from, once you want to make a decision in your marriage, whatever entity you believe in, I believe that you should consult that entity. Because you see, many marriages are falling apart because we are selfish, because we are doing everything with our human mind. We can't. We cannot. And that is where we are drifting away from. And so a little misunderstanding here, I want to leave. Something little happens, I can't take it anymore. Of course, you can't take it anymore, because you are only human, and you can't do this journey alone without the entity you believe in, without God. We run away too quickly. See, this lady wanted all those evidences because I feel like she wants to prove that this is what you've done. I have reasons enough to say that I'm leaving this marriage. And I think that they haven't spoken. Rosina said they haven't spoken, because if they have spoken, Nanka, she wouldn't have gone to get this guy to come and clone her husband's phone. It's the time for them to speak. See, I tell you, some people don't have regrets. You will be shocked that this man will say that, you've seen it, so what? Stay or leave. You will be shocked. No, we make decisions based on our selfish needs. I'm sorry she's going through this, but whatever the conclusion is, or whatever decision she makes, she should just make it to save herself. Thank you.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
You've been quiet.
My sisters have said all the beautiful things, and so I'm not going to reiterate most of these points. I totally agree with all that Rosie said in this particular topic. But that being said, someone has to play the devil's advocate, and that's you. Someone has to play the devil's advocate. Society has made it look like you have to stay at all costs in a marriage. Especially for women, you have to struggle in the marriage to prove that you stay.
Suffering is
like divine.
Long suffering is feminine.
Long suffering.
And that's your femininity.
I always say this
Childbirth
to
is
people
painful,
who want
menstrual
to
cycle is
probe.
painful, everything is painful.
I always say this to people who want to probe, especially when you have a teeny tiny reason to probe.
You find it.
You will find it. And Ashanti say, whatever you are looking for in this life, you will find it. But before you go looking, trick is be ready for anything. Because when anything hits, You cannot now be found backtracking because you have seen with your eyes the promised land. If you know you want to remain in your marriage, please remain as ignorant as possible. Because when you know too much, now what is going to happen is you start to doubt your very existence, your very femininity, your very worth as a woman. Me personally, coming from a place where I have been cheated on, I have been the woman on that side where they are cheating on me, and I have hacked phones. I have done it all. When I was young and naive.
So you have done your face.
Yes. And I've been on the other side where I was the one who was busily being the cheater. So I can afford to speak on the matter that it is very, very painful. It is an excruciating pain that you cannot describe, that nobody can relate to unless they have been in that situation before. Yes. Like how she's feeling right now. That's why I always advise, Madam, if you want to go and probe, better be ready, because it's going to get nasty from that point onwards. Even when you want to discuss things with this person, you have seen them do all this, it is not going to be nice. That is why it was unnecessary for her to go to that length to see in the first place. You will never see that man the same way ever again. No. You will doubt every word that comes out of their mouth. You will become paranoid. And so that is why I say that if you feel disrespected, based on all these things, if you feel disrespected, have a word with this man, and if he doesn't feel remorseful in any way, shape, or form, run for the hills. Because it's going to, the moment he doesn't feel any shame and remorse and apologetic, run for the hills, because it's going to get worse from this point onwards. He's going to do it in your face. He's going to bring the girls home. He's going to text her right in front of you as you're sitting there and be laughing at her text messages and be smiling. You don't want to see all that. This is the perfect opportunity to run. You have already muddied the waters by probing too much. That's my take on it.
Okay, from what I understood, you said what you just said right now. Basically, I feel like I'm hearing, okay, if you're not ready, do not probe.
Don't probe. It's a very dangerous, slippery ground to go on.
What if you're dealing with someone that doesn't even care about you when it comes to your health? Having sex with someone else without protection. And I don't know how many people he's sending his
Exactly.
Sometimes the probing can also help in the running away.
Exactly. Because if I'm going to be quiet, honestly, if I am going to be quiet about the whole thing, that means I'm going to be taking everything that you bring, and which includes diseases.
Okay. Yes. Exactly.
Infections.
Yes.
I don't want to die.
Here's the advantage of not probing. Here's the advantage of not probing.
Okay.
Here's the.
This whole case. Why probe in the first place?
Exactly.
The guy smashed his phone.
That's enough evidence.
It's an evidence enough. Yes.
You saw nude pics. He smashed his phone. Why go
exactly? Here's the thing for me: the advantage and disadvantages of not probing. If you are a woman, because for different women, different things matter to different women. Okay. For some women, the fact that they are wearing a wedding ring on their finger is all they have dreamt of in their entire life.
You can do
they
whatever.
Are married. They are happy. They look down on every other woman who is not married. So if you are that kind of a woman, madam, keep quiet and remain in that marriage, because that's your for better, for worse. That's what you are going to get. That's what you've gotten.
No, but some of them are okay. Yeah,
exactly.
You can do
some women even know their husbands are cheating with this
Mm.
person, and they won't confront you. They don't care. They are married. They are the missus. They are going to get everything when you die, hoping that you die first. They don't care. So yes, but if you are somebody who you care about your health, you care about your pride as a woman, you care about your worth and your sanity and your peace of mind. You don't need to probe. No. Actually, if you have probed and you've seen, this is the perfect opportunity to run. Just go and sign that divorce paper and keep it moving.
Okay. Well, I actually have something to say in conclusion. In conclusion, I think it's really important that we, or each and every one in the marriage or even in the relationships, applies emotional intelligence.
Yes.
And
very important.
Yes, and emotional intelligence is what you said. Maybe you didn't have to go too far by, putting out your husband there, hacking. And
she's out there also.
Yes, and then she's out there also. And emotional intelligence also includes being able to be talked to, being able to agree that, yes, I messed up. So imagine one person is emotionally intelligent and the other person is not emotionally intelligent. It's still going to be a problem.
Exactly.
But to this lady, well, you've heard everything that the sisters say, but if I have to conclude, you've seen what you went searching for. which I wouldn't fault you for that, but the only thing I will fault you for is, putting out, your husband's information out there to a hacker, because obviously you don't know if he's going to come back and say, I need more money unless I'm going to put up, you never know who's going to blackmail you. So yeah, that bit. But now you've seen everything, and I think you should be emotionally intelligent about it. Do you want to stay? Do you want to have that conversation with him, or do you just want to pack up? But if you want to stay, and if you want to, fix your marriage, this is the time for you to talk. It's very important. I know, yes, in our society here in Africa, here in Ghana, we really don't like the talking thing, because mostly women are supposed to just enter the war room, pray. To pray, no. Prayer does not, no. While you're praying, you're supposed to be working, and the working is the talking part. The prayer cannot just do everything. So I think you should be ready to talk about this. But then, what's your final conclusion, ladies?
For me, I would say it is unfortunate that this has happened. She needs to really assess herself. What is important to her? Is it her marriage? Is it her peace? Is it her self-worth? Because after this incident, and given all that she has seen with her bare eyes, certain things are going to be questioned from henceforth. Her peace, her sanity. When that man steps out of the house, it's an issue.
Right.
When he comes home late, it's an issue. Therefore, if her marriage is important to her, this is where she keeps quiet and pretends she hasn't seen anything. If it is not, and her peace of mind and self-worth is important to her, she can do all the talking there is, but she can never see this person as the same again. But this decision, it would have to come from her. She should take some time, maybe even go on a trip or something, some weekend away. Just think through this properly and figure out what her most important thing is and run with it.
Okay. Yeah, Rosie.
Okay, so for me, what I would say is that there's a reason why marriage, when they are doing the vows, they say things like for better, for worse. Because for those who have gone ahead, they know that marriage is not a bed of roses. There are good times and then there are bad times. So when you get married and these things happen, it's important that, for me, in my if I would have to advise her, let her communicate, dialogue, get to the bottom of this. Because one thing that any married couple who have been happily married for years, one thing that goes for them, or they will tell you, is that, look, we have to forgive each other daily, sometimes even without the other party even asking, even without the other party being sorry for what they have done or what they haven't done. So forgiveness is actually a bedrock of every marriage. So she would learn to forgive if, after communicating, the right things are done. The man accepts that, yes, I have done wrong. The man goes a step ahead and breaks up whatever relationship he has with this person. The man makes sure that these things are not happening again and all of that. If these things happen, I'm sure the woman will find it in her place to forgive the man. And sometimes it can actually catapult the marriage into a much, much, much greater place. However, if in the midst of communicating and trying to dialogue and do these things, you realize that this man truly doesn't care what you think, doesn't care how you feel, doesn't care what you saw or didn't see, and all of that, they probably cares more about the other party, cares more about protecting the other party, being with the other party, then, my dear, the question is that your mental stability, your physical health, your mental health, even sometimes your social health, because you are wondering, the places you are going with your husband, has he gone there with this other girl? Are you coming in as the main chick, side chick, or a wife who doesn't know that she's all those things? If all those things is at stake and you think it's a bother, then I'll lend you my legs are very long. I'll give it to you. I was an athlete in school. I'll go back. I'll give you all that energy so you can run for the hills, like MC Cho would say, run for the hills. Because you see, when you're in a place, so mistakes are bound to happen, but partners should value their wives enough to be able to take the necessary steps to remedy situations. Sometimes all it takes is that step, so the other party feels like you care about me.
Okay, Rene.
Yes, so I want to say this: the remedy doesn't depend on the woman alone at all, because you see, she could decide she could forgive the man even before he apologizes, even before he accepts that this is what I have done, even before he repents of whatever he's doing, the cheating, the nude sent out, betraying his wife, betraying their marriage. If the man doesn't feel remorseful and like is ready to even make it work, it can't work.
Yes.
Because she can put in everything. They can have all the discussions. They can have all the important people, their mentors, their counselors come to sit and listen to everything every part of their stories. And if the man decide that he can't stop, I know a man, he says he can't stop. And that he's doing it because he wants to leave. He's giving his wife reasons. Yes, I am cheating. This is the one I'm cheating on you with. I can't leave her. I want to leave you.
Obviously, he loves her.
Yeah.
And you're looking at your wife and you're telling her that I'm leaving you because of another woman. I can't stop cheating on you. And we've come far. You've come far with your side chick. and you haven't gone far with your wife. I'm saying this. These are realities. See, these things you read to us are realities. There are even worse situations.
Yeah.
If the man doesn't come to terms that, okay, I have betrayed my wife, our marriage, and this, it won't work. So yes, you should apply all the approaches we've shared here. Hopefully, it may work. If it doesn't work, she should walk with her head up high and move on with her life.
One last thing I'll have to add is I have seen a situation where the woman remained in this bitter marriage and then she eventually died. Yeah. And the husband and the side chick were busy sitting in another car, following the hares, sipping on some wine and chewing chicken. So, sistering, if you have to leave, please leave. Nobody is keeping scores anywhere. When you die and you go up there, God will ask you why you are stupid.
Okay. Thank you, sisters. It was really nice having you on the show. And I mean, I can never do this without you, the three wise sisters. Always dishing out the best relationship advice. And yeah, I don't know how I would have done this without you, but once more, thank you. I mean, this story was actually very heated. Yes, it was very, very heated. Yeah. And I know we're still thinking about it, and then we'll have so much to say, but then it's time for us to, you know, wrap up. And remember that you can actually send in your stories if you want it to be read out here, if you want the sisters to help you. All you need to do is send your stories through sisterislive@gmail.com. sisterislive@gmail.com. And and my sisters will be giving you the needed advice. So don't forget to send in your stories. But let's take a quick break and I will be concluding. And it's still sisters. We actually listened to 2 stories. Now it's time for me to give my final thoughts. But before I do that, I want to say a very big thank you to Bruce Services for providing us with some, you know, delicious, wonderful cocktails. The cocktails actually really helped because it was a very heated conversation that we had earlier. And thank you so much. Thank you. And also for the male perspective of things, you have really helped us in understanding how men think sometimes. Okay, so my final thoughts on the 2 stories. I'm going to start with the first story, which is the lady pregnant for the divorcee that she has been dating for 5 years, and her parents and family are saying, no, you can't get married to this man. All I can say is it's time for you to step back and be truthful to yourself. If there are red flags that you have seen, if there are signs of womanizing like that you have seen, which your sister actually mentioned, then you should tell yourself the truth. You should try and, you know, clear that phase of, you know, everything is rosy, everything is perfect, just because I'm in love. You should tell the truth to yourself, and only you know what you have been seeing and experiencing. And remember that marriage is also a one-on-one commitment between you and your partner. It doesn't have to do with the whole world, but between you and your partner. Sometimes the people around us can be wrong. The perception that, you know, they put out there about somebody, it's exactly not what it is or what you feel. So be able to tell yourself the truth, then you can make your decision. So, and the next story which we actually saw was the story of the lady who found that her husband was cheating, and just because of one act, the act of him pouncing on her after giving her his phone, and she realizing that he had been sending nudes to someone, which she went ahead to contact a hacker who actually hacked his phone, and she found out things that she was not supposed to see. Lady, you have, you know, taken that step of, you know, probing and digging and finding things that you might not want to have seen, but now you have seen it. It's up to you to make the decision. Do you want to stay or do you want to leave? If you want to save your marriage, it's time for you to talk about it. It's time for you to talk about it with your partner. I know we actually live in a society that does not give us room to talk to our partners, especially as women, because women are supposed to be a certain way. You're supposed to be meek. You're supposed to be submissive. You're not supposed to share how you feel because you're supposed to sit it out as a good wife. Or sometimes they tell you to enter the war room and pray out the cheating husband. Well, this is not one of those advice that I'm going to be giving, telling you to enter the war room and pray about it. While you're praying about it, all I can say is you need to also talk about it. You need to talk about it because it's marriage. And if you want to save it, it's important for you to share your feelings and how you feel and find a solution about it. But if there's no solution, if one person is not willing to work on it, then I'm sorry. You have to be ready to walk out to save your dignity or sit and sulk and suffer. So it's up to you. Do you want to sit and suffer? Do you want to talk about it? Or do you, just want to work it out? Well, thank you for joining us on this episode of Sister Sister. It has been a very interesting one, and we hope to get more of your stories, and we also hope to see you next week. My name is Chris Carter, and this has been Sister Sister. See you next week.